Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. I'm Bryer, and if you read the title, you will know that in today's video, I'm going to be trying gouache for the first time. I have this Himi 24 set with me. I gotta be honest, I don't know what I'm doing. I've never worked gouache before, I'm pretty unfamiliar with it, so this is definitely like, just going like headfirst into this. So kind of my plan is I've got some watercolor paper here, and I'm just going to be doing some swatches, and then after I get a feel for the colors and generally how the paint works, I'm going to be trying to do a more finished piece. For those of you who don't know, gouache is like a type of paint. I'll put some proper definition up here while I attempt to explain it. It's kind of like a mixture between like acrylic paint and watercolor, as it is generally used as an opaque watercolor. What I'm going to do first, I am going to open up the set, show off what it looks like, what the paints look like, to get a feel for the product. Without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so I'm just gonna move this watercolor pad to the side. This did not come with the kit, I got this separately, but here we have it, the Himi kit. Just gonna open it on the sides here. It's just got two flaps like this. When it first opens up, there's this cool palette, which is so cool that they included this just for like mixing the paint and whatnot. And it also came with some paint brushes. But I have not looked at these yet. They look very pretty. Hopefully they work well too. I've never done a product review like this. I think the closest thing was like my first 3 marker challenge I did a while ago, because I went through and like tested out the Copics, but done anything like this. So it's kind of fun and interesting. So it came with 3 different paint brushes, round one, a flat one, and like a flatter one with a rounder end, but very nice. And here we have the actual paint. So right now they're all like separately packaged. Here we have a white. Now I'm just going to go through and kind of pull out all the paints, see what we're working with. Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to think of how to transition this because I really don't know. Well, I guess I just ended up using that as my transition, but like I said, I'm just going through, peeling off all the little plastic bits that are on top of the paints, and just going through and seeing what colors I'm working with. I mostly did a time lapse because I didn't think you guys would need to see the whole process of this, but I do have a couple of moments where it's in real time because honestly, it was so satisfying to peel the lids off. Everyone, I've officially finished peeling off all the top plastic metal bits. Now I'm going to do something. It is definitely very unnecessary. I'm going to take all of these out and sort them in rainbow order. To go and sort this in rainbow order, and then I'll go and give my opinion on the paints. Like I said, I'm just going through and sorting all the paints in rainbow order. I don't know, I just think it would look nicer, and it might also be easier to kind of get a better feel for what colors I'm working with. So it did take an unnecessary amount of time. It was honestly so satisfying to sort them in rainbow order. Okay, it's almost time to do actual art. But now I'm just going to go through and mix all the paints. Some of them, like, they've got like oil and stuff separated from it. I'm just going to go through with some sort of stick and just like mix in the paint. Hey y'all, I finally did it. I ripped off all the plastic bits, I sorted it all, I mixed it all, so I can finally move on to the swatching, but some of it's already starting to dry. But for those of you who don't know, gouache is water soluble, so if it dries out, you just add some water to it, and then it's good to go again. Anyways, I am finally going to get started on the swatches, and there's probably some more efficient way to do this, because there's always some more efficient way to do it, but I basically saved the little covers that have the, oh god, focus please. That have the little names of the paints on them, so I'm just going to use those to reference, like write the names down when I'm swatching them. But yeah, let's get into that. Yeah, so I just started off by writing all the names in the same order that they've been put into the little container so that it's easier to put the swatches down. Okay, y'all, after so many different things, it is finally time to do the swatches. So what I'm kind of planning on doing here is I'm going to do one swatch where it's just the raw color itself, so I'm not going to add anything to it, and then I'm going to do one where I add water. So to do this, I'm just going to use this flat brush right here. So the first color is ochre. It's like this dark red brown color. I'm going to swatch it right here. Oh, I already kind of like how this color, or how this paint works. It just feels very smooth and silky with it being a bit watered down. Oh, I still really like that. Okay, I'm gonna proceed to do this for all of them. I have no idea. Whoa. That was not English. I have no idea how much of this I'm gonna include, like, footage-wise. I'm just gonna go for it. I'm just gonna record the whole process and we'll see how much I decide to include. Go to do the editing. So kind of similarly to how I've been showing the other stuff is I'll show part of it in real time and the rest in time-lapse. So that's just what I'm doing right now, is I'm doing the first half of the swatches and then the rest will be in time-lapse. I attempted to explain this earlier, but honestly, I already love, like, the texture of applying the paint. Like, I love the very silkiness of it, I guess. And also when you go in with the more opaque texture, it has that very, like, jelly, almost pudding texture to it. Okay, y'all, it has been done. All of the paints have been swatched, and so just kind of my opinions on them so far. I'm actually really happy with the amount of colors. It was a great range. My only critiques is I wish they had added one more white and one more black, and taken away maybe one of the greens and one of the blues, just because those two are so important to have and they get used up so much, and really, so many greens and blues already, and if you took some of them away, you might use the black and white anyway, so just mix it on your own. Like, personally, I felt like the ultramarine and the cobalt were kind of redundant. Like, there's definitely differences, but really, it's not the most necessary. Anyways, now I'm going to make some sort of painting out of this. I do want to try and use as many colors as possible. To be honest, I have no idea what I'm going to paint yet. But I think I'm just going to scroll on Pinterest for a while, because that's what I usually do, to find some inspo. Anyways, let's go on to the painting. Okay, like I said, I am finally getting started on the painting, and as you can see right there, I had to apply some water to the paint because it already dried out. I'm just starting off going in and painting this, like, blue top, and I did start off with a thicker base instead of a more watercolor layer, and I ended up regretting that later on. I got started on the hair, and I don't know why, I have a weird obsession with painting pink hair. I don't know what it is, but whenever I have the opportunity, I make my characters have pink hair. And the first layer was also the fastest, that's why I've already done the hair, the shirt, and the skin, but later on, I spend a lot more time when I'm adding in some more details to the painting. And, here's the thing. The entire time while I was working on this painting, I wasn't very happy with it, but I figured it was just going through the ugly phase that most artwork goes through, but this entire painting was the ugly phase. I don't know, I tried so hard to like it, but I just don't like it. I don't like how it turned out. Don't like it. So that is why this speed paint ends up being quite short, and why I also end up doing a second painting later on in the video. So what I've done so far is I've done all the base, and now I'm going to be going in with like a second layer for the shirt, and I've also already started some of the highlights for the hair. Oh, I've also done the shading for the hair, I just didn't notice. I don't know, this point right here is probably the best this painting ever looked, and it kind of just goes downhill from here, I gotta be honest. Okay, maybe I'm being a little too harsh on myself. I don't know, I just really don't like it. I don't like it. Okay, but I really need to move on from the self-deprecation here. So I've basically just gotten started on doing the final details like the shading, the lips, and the line art. Did some of the finishing details like the highlights in the eyes and the little stars around the painting with Posca pens, just because it was a lot easier than trying to do all those details with a paintbrush. But yeah, that is the end of this video. Or at least that was originally going to be the end of this video. So as I may have mentioned once or twice throughout the voiceover, was the ugly phase. I tried so hard to like it, but I just don't like how it turned out. The entire time while I was working on this painting, I wasn't very happy with it, but I am not that happy with how the painting turned out, and while the painting is not terrible by any means, I know that I can do a lot better, so I did. And now I will be showing you guys the footage of me redoing this painting in hopes of improving upon it. Hey everyone, I'm back like almost exactly a month later. Like, it is February 6th and the last time I filmed was January 5th. and I'm gonna give this another shot. I've got my sketch in already. I like the sketch of this way better than the previous one. For the most part, I took very similar aspects of the last drawing into this one to kind of keep them similar, but I changed up a lot. Like the general facial structure of the characters a lot different, and I also changed up the hair. Yeah, I'm just gonna be going through. I'm gonna taking a lot more time, and also I'm not going to be filming this in like real time, and that's because I want to spend a lot more time focusing on actually creating something I'm proud of instead of the filming. So if you notice that the setup isn't as nice as the previous clips, that is why. Without further ado, let's get into the artwork. Getting started, and the first main big difference between this painting and the last one is I started off with a very diluted water base. Probably already tell the difference between this painting and the last one just because of that small fact. Like even looking at the hair, it went from this dark magenta pink to this very light pink. And I definitely could have gone over all of this with the darker colors, but I ended up preferring the lighter colors a bit better, so I do tend to keep it on the lighter side by the end of the painting. Well, I said I wouldn't do like real life footage, but it was too satisfying to not include a little bit. But yeah, as I mentioned with the hair, I tended to keep it on the lighter side except for the shading. Time-lapse are so much easier to film, but it makes it a lot more difficult when I'm doing the voiceover to talk about everything. Already done the line art for the face and some of the shading, and for the hair I actually went for almost like a cloud approach just with the way I shaded it, and I think it looks so cool. Originally, I was going to give her blue eyes like the last drawing, but I decided to just draw her pupilless, which, if you don't know, it's kind of a trend where I draw these sort of goddess-type characters, and they don't have any pupils. I don't know why, but I do. Hopefully this is going fast, but yeah, like the last one, I used a yellow Posca pen to draw in the little details, just like the little space crown thing and the stars around, and now I'm doing my signature. Oh my god, this has gone by so fast, like... And there you have it, everyone. My two finished artworks. Here, I'm just gonna do that. And while I definitely have a lot of room for improvement, I definitely think that the second painting turned out a lot better than the first one. And even if there wasn't a huge improvement in technique, I just think it generally looks prettier. So in my book, it's a win. One thing that I did differently the second time around that I definitely think made a difference is instead of just going in with the more thicker opaqueness, like more acrylic based technique with the paint where I use less water, I tried to first water down all the colors I was using. I think it honestly made a huge difference. It made it a lot easier to go in with multiple layers and just overall looks a lot cleaner. You can see here, you can see so many different streaks in the skin and the shirt, where with the watercolor, when you have that patchiness, by no means looks great. It doesn't look that bad because since it's watercolor, you almost expect the patchiness. I don't know, I think you guys know at this point, I don't really know what I'm talking about when it comes to painting, so I'm kind of just making up this as I go along. I would definitely recommend this product. It was a lot of fun to work with, although I would recommend, you know, practicing a lot with it and doing your research. And once again, I think it is a lot better off if you start off using a lot more watered down watercolor base opposed to the acrylic, which I think that's what most people do. I feel like most people use gouache for the more watercolor effect opposed to the acrylic side of it. But yeah, it was really fun to work with, and I think the second painting turned out really nice. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to give a big thumbs up and comment down below if you would like to see me use this product in future videos. Honestly, I would love to paint with gouache a lot more, so I just want to know if this is something you guys would actually like to see more of in the future. Also, if you're new to the channel or you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and hit that post notification bell so you're alerted every time I post my videos so you can keep up to date. Well, that's all that I have to say for now, so remember to stay weird, and I will see you guys next time.